Hello and welcome to our podcast. My name is Mauro Arruda and I head the AI Solutions and Services team pre-sales in EMEA. And I've got with me Amir Ansari. Welcome, Amir.
Thanks, Mauro. My name is Amir Ansari. I'm an advanced services lead at Lenovo. So, what do you think in last 2 years, the AI hype, it's gone from hype into the real deployment? How the customer are seeing this?
Yes, it's been definitely a transformational period the past 2 years. Certainly after the kind of ChatGPT kind of boom, they really got AI into the kind of front thought of all CIOs and CEOs and CFOs of organizations. What we've seen, and we've spoken about this, what we've seen over the past 2 years is really the kind of that shift between experimentation, trying to understand how can I use AI in a particular small niche of my business or use case to actually how I'm driving return on investment for my AI projects. And that has been the biggest shift. That shift doesn't come easily, right? Because as you understand, and we see these on a daily basis with our customers, these are some of the use cases are very well integrated within their enterprise, so they're quite complex. They revolve around different functions around the enterprise, and it's certainly causing some challenges to how do they go from these kind of one-off projects to deploying the solutions at scale and drive value from those AI solutions.
And what are your thoughts or advice could be for the customer who wants to start with AI but doesn't know what shall I do with AI? Which AI do I need? Do I need hardware? Do I need software? Which services do I need? And what the important question is, what are the ROIs? How do they know the AI will bring them some business
And
value?
that is the challenge, right? So we see AI is exciting. It's exciting technology. Everybody's using it on a daily basis. And people tend to start with the technology in a lot of these conversations, even people that are not experts. They've seen it. They've used ChatGPT on their phone or other particular kind of applications. We should start with really what they know best. They know their business best, right? So they know what challenges do they have or their customers have. They know what outcomes they want to drive. And that's really where the conversation should start. We should be talking about where are your challenges? Where are you losing revenues or not growing fast enough? Where can we help you drive adoption? That's another, the people side of AI and technology, not uniquely a problem of AI, but advanced solutions. So we really try to promote that conversation and that kind of around outcomes. We've got a number of solutions and services that we can help them guide. Some of our customers are quite, if you go into a bank and you've been to a few banks, you've been traveling around continents, talking to many customers in the banking industry. Some will be quite advanced, right? In some regions, specifically Europe or the United States, North America in general. But you might go to other regions where they're still really coming up to speed with where they can drive value from advanced technologies like AI. So really helping them on that discovery journey. And we've got a number of services that help them structure their kind of the things that they know best, their business, the outcomes they want to drive and their challenges into what could become a technology roadmap or a technology and people roadmap within the enterprise. So really taking them on that journey. And we can meet customers really wherever they are in the journey, whether they're quite advanced and they might, you were saying, do they need compute? They might need compute, right? So if they're quite advanced, they've got a mature use case that they've deployed and tested, and now they want to scale. But that would be probably an overkill if they are at an early stage of adoption and they're still maturing that understanding of ROI. So that what they might need is something that runs on a kind of a pay per use kind of environment where we help them adopt and fine tune some of the solutions to that particular challenge. So really taking them on that journey, we can really pick them up at the point of trying to figure out which use cases they want to work on, or they should be working on, which aligns with their strategy, all the way to managing those workloads, and obviously bring our beautiful laptops and servers and networking and everything that Lenovo is well renowned for.
So we have also seen the shift of customers from cloud services to on-prem, because a lot of customers are hesitating to share their data in order to train the AI or LLM. So how does this fits into, does Lenovo with hybrid solution?
Yeah, and you know how it goes, right? So there was a big shift into cloud because from economies of scale, when you're scaling up this, even when you're testing, not just scaling up, some of the use cases, it's easy to adopt something that is there, and you don't need to pay upfront for when you pay on a kind of a more OPEX model. What we call it at Lenovo, as you know, we call that hybrid AI, really, and I don't think we're going to move all the workloads, AI workloads, from the cloud to on-prem. You're talking about considerations around privacy and data sovereignty and all that. That's definitely a topic of the moment. But we'll be using the systems really across whatever the data is. And that's why we talk about hybrid AI. It could be we're moving this because of data sovereignty and compliance, but we could be doing this because of latency aspects. You want quick answers to data input. So you need something that might not need to rely on internet connection, for example. Operational costs are becoming quite critical, especially with the new LLM, large language models, and this Gen AI motion that ChatGPT uses and similar tools. And we know that the cost of operating these tools at scale are huge. We did some calculations about 20 to 30,000 users. You might be paying 7 to 8 times more when you're running some of the workloads in a cloud environment rather than a private environment. So there's many considerations why some workloads will move from the cloud to an on-prem. But what we really see the future is AI and these data-driven solutions will run whatever the data is, and you really should have a kind of hybrid IT strategy in place to cater for how different users, different actors within your enterprise will be using the data. And that's why we've set up a whole framework, which we call Hybrid AI Advantage. It really brings all the building blocks to deploy really the best outcomes for our customers in this case, from AI technology.
And also a lot of customers are confused about, do I need heavy-end GPUs? Or if yes, then am I going to use them every day? Or training happens once a year, once a month, 6 a month, how often? And why having edge infrastructure or edge device is very critical.
It is so, and this again, going back to horses for courses, right? So we're in a kind of a GPU economy, right, at the moment, right? So everybody's racing to get the best, the fastest, the most beautiful GPU in that data center. The reality, again, if you drive back or break down the challenges and you drive back to what outcomes you want to achieve, centralized compute, it might not be the answer. Edge compute is becoming, and it has been crucial and key in many industries, and industries like retail, industries like mobility, industries like manufacturing, where a lot of data is generated locally. You need compute power to drive value from that data locally. So that's why we see edge is as important as enterprise or a kind of data center compute, or even public cloud compute. It really depends on the use case, and edge has got a special place in this mix. We see with the now moving into what we call physical AI, the robotics or autonomous vehicles. Even that will be a natural kind of progression, that edge will become very, very important. And we see that, again, having the right tools for the right job. That's what we should be focusing in our conversations with our customers, should be around what outcomes do they want to drive, what are their challenges, and what's the right technology to solve those challenges.
So if I recap correctly, the edge is the way to go because it processes data locally, and a lot of data produced locally should be produced locally.
If that's what
Yeah.
your challenge is about,
Yeah.
local data, high throughput, and you need kind of a rapid, instantaneous answers to your problem that we're solving with AI, yes, that will be a solution.
So why many organization fails when they start AI?
Again, I think there's and when we go into a customer, so you've got two types of customers, right? You've got the type of customer that already is like they go to the doctor, they already know what medicine they want, right? So and then it is, as a company that wants to respond to their needs, we sometimes jump into giving them what they the compute, and so I think we need to really focus again on the what they need really.
And we have also seen customer who have adopted AI
Yeah,
as part of their infrastructure, but their business processes are always same, old. Their KPIs are not dynamic, it's a static. Their governance model, it's also based on the old map. So what are your thoughts? How they can benefit?
and there's yeah. And it will be easy for me to say, I've worked in innovation all my life, right? To say you should transform, you should change everything that you've got. All your
Yeah.
legacy is what it is legacy, right? But the reality of running a business, and I've run a few small businesses, is that transformation doesn't happen like that. And transformation costs, and it costs not only monetarily, but also in terms of your people's time, right? So, and that's what organizations don't have. How I'm going to dedicate a whole team now onto something else that they haven't done. Also, disruption of business. So you can just change a model, change a technology from one day to the next. So that's why it's so important to have what we call adoption and change management kind of strategies in place. And that's something, as you know, we've developed with our teams at Lenovo, having those programs that help our customers going through that change management, that transformation, really picking up what they have now, understanding what are the priorities and the foundational changes that they have to start working on, put a roadmap of transformation. And it's not just a technology aspect. A lot of the projects, as we've been talking to some of our customers, fail not because of the technology. It's also the people then don't use the technology. So if they're not using the technology, the value that technology could bring is not being realized. So it's really working with them to build that roadmap of change and managing that change from technology to people, to their processes, right? And then all these within a secured environment or framework that allows them to do that in the right way with minimum disruption and with maximum value at each stage.
And what are your thoughts about Gen and Agentic AI? Does customer need both, or they need one, or Agentic AI is going to take over Gen AI? How does it work?
Do you know, I really think what the customer needs is a solution that drives value and it attacks that challenge. And Agentic AI and Gen AI, they've got a place, like statistics and anything else has got a place to solve a problem. Obviously, around Gen AI, it's really around all these intelligent models that understand the physical world, right? They understand language, and we can leverage a lot of this technology, which are at the end of the day, the algorithms, the models that you can communicate and get information from. And they're very valuable in many use cases like ChatGPT, right? You wouldn't say that ChatGPT is better than or worse than kind of an agentic AI. Agentic AI is a layer that you put on top of all these agents. It's a way of orchestrating several models that specialists in different things, and a way of actually, if you want to, for example, like us, right? So if you want to if you're not feeling well and you want to go and get some prescription, we go to the doctor, right? So we don't go to the fire brigade asking for medicine. So it's exactly the orchestration around agentic AI is how we orchestrating different agents, specialists in different areas, from language to vision to many other applications, and how we bring all that together to drive the outcome that we're trying to drive. And certainly, I think we're moving into an agentic AI world as we moved in the past to kind of a microservices world, right? So you've got in the microservices world, you have in software, you have different services all doing their little thing, right? And then you start bringing the orchestrators of all those the services. Agentic AI is that. It's a kind of a supervisor, an orchestrator of all the different agents. And the power is that they can not only understand what your challenge or what your query is, they actually can action on those. And we're creating at the moment the kind of the edge, or that kind of the cutting edge of that is connecting that to the physical world for autonomous vehicles and for things like robotics, right?
So if we have multiple agents, or let's say a lot of microservices, that means agentic AI will have also a lot of agents. How, from customer point of view, how I'm going to manage multiple thousands or millions of the agents together?
You can't. So that's a task that will have to be delegated to another agent, right? So that's how it's going to become. So we'll live in a world with multiple agents. Some will be personal, very personal to you, because they closely they understand what you want, interacting with other agents. So the frontier for agentic AI is really how we're going to build this intelligent, completely self-monitored system of orchestration of different agents. How are you going to manage the platform? How are you going to manage the resource or the compute that they need to run on, right? So some of these agents this is going to be a completely hybrid IT environment, right? Some of the agents will run locally. Some of the agents will run in the data center or in the cloud. So some of the solutions that we're bringing together to really orchestrate agents, like our agent management platform system, but also our hybrid cloud platforms, is really bringing together all the building blocks and in a way that we can orchestrate them and really deploy an agent where it needs to be deployed. And I think customers will realize that they need to move to these more kind of holistic kind of supervision level of platforms, and then leverage a lot of the new technologies, a lot of the agents being developed by different companies.
So if I understand correct, there will be a top agent. He's like a boss agent. And then below there will be several agents working and managing. And then below it will, and they will be responsible for particular feature or particular functions or services only.
Yes, I believe so. And you'll have different families of agents. So you'll definitely have agents that are kind of memory agents. They'll retrieve and they know about everything. They'll have agents that will execute things. You'll have the policing agents. So Guardrails is one of the most critical aspects of how we're going to move into agentic AI. Guardrails, safety and security around agents is going to be a key topic. And this is going to be a key aspect on these kind of orchestration platforms for agentic AI.
So all this new AI era has raised another questions or concern, call it security. From security point of view, how I am sure that my APIs or microservices or agents are secure, that they are not sending something which they should not send outside. So we are not talking about the infrastructure, load balancer, firewall security, but specifically more for the microservices, APIs, and agents.
So you'll have to have like we did with software. So it's not dissimilar, right? But we'll have a whole layer of policing, supervision, and security layer working at the agent level. So you might have agents that might be contaminated or might have like Trojan horses. They'll try to get into your system. There might be ways of leaking information that is used to train the agents. There might be network kind of intrusions and risks that you might need to manage, because these agents will communicate with our agents with outside your security perimeter. So these are the things. So that's why I was saying a key aspect to agentic AI is the security frameworks around there. Around that, and then really with security and ethics as well, right? So the ethical aspect, because at the end of the day, you'll be communicating with people. You have to make sure that data is protected, privacy is protected, and abuse is restricted. So there'll be a whole security layers probably. It's one of the things that some of the big developers of agentic AI platforms and even Gen AI platforms are really focusing on. I think there should be a focus. Lenovo is completely, absolutely focused on building responsible AI frameworks, and we've set up one of the first worldwide kind of AI committees, responsible AI committees within the company 2 years ago, where every single project and every single agent that we build has to go through scrutiny and be approved for release or to be used internally even.
So in order to make AI successful, the foundation is very important. And foundation starts with the infrastructure. So Lenovo provides compute, GPU, storage, and customer often ask, okay, I'm very clear from the infrastructure point of view, but what about the use cases and the services? Can I put all this in one OPEX, or do I have to pay separately? So what do you recommend?
So as I said, we'll pick them up wherever they are in their AI journey, right? From helping them to roadmap and assess and the viability of some of these use cases and the use of AI technology for those use cases, all the way to allowing them to experiment very rapidly within an environment that is actually representative of their enterprise environments, what we call our AI fast starts. And then we can scale that with them and end-to-end stack. So we've got a very strong network of AI innovators. We've got a very strong AI development team internal to Lenovo. And it's really making sure that we're driving these. It's not just a technology journey, it's also a people journey. And ultimately, it has to drive value for the enterprise. And we're here to help them with that range of services.
So that means, if I understand correct, the customer would have always an option to bundle hardware, software, services into one package and then turn it into the monthly OPEX model.
We offer a range, as you know, a range of commercial models, and which are very flexible. So from a TrueScale, which is full flexibility across the whole stack, right? From compute networking to services, adoption services, and solutions and software. So you can bundle everything into kind of an OPEX model. In some cases, again, CapEx might be the way forward. So I wouldn't jump into conclusions in anything. Really, I think the key point is is a well-established framework for adopting new technologies. We can use that framework from discovery to fast starts to scaling and managing, bringing the right technology to the table at the right time and helping our customers on that journey.
Which kind of use case would you recommend for it's from any verticals to start with? If I am a company and I would like to start with AI, what is the best ready to deploy solution I could start with?
That's interesting. You always ask me difficult questions, right? So that's why I love talking to you. Again, I think there's three main things that we see companies trying to do. One is providing better service to their customers. Second is being more productive and more efficient in the way they do things. And third is really sweating their assets as much as they can, so that from a cost reduction point of view. So you could look at those kind of pain points or outcomes that you want to drive as the key starting points. I think they will land in one of these three, whether efficiency increase, cost reduction, or better service to your customers. So depending what your business priority is, so we see in retail and banking as well, customer experience and customer satisfaction is a key use case. So there's a range of things from conversational avatars, conversational knowledge assistants, and also just solutions automatically monitor customer satisfaction and customer experience that could be deployed. If you're really on the efficiency, and efficiency could be across many things, could be your production line, right? So you're trying to reduce defects or improve quality in your production line. Efficiency could be your staff efficiency, getting more accurate, more timely data or information that can help them on their job. So knowledge assistance and Gen AI is very powerful. It could be going to the last one that was said, reducing costs, managing your infrastructure or your assets, or in sweating them as much as you can. So really technologies that allow you to really stretch and increase the life of your assets, using AI to predictive maintenance or to detect faults, and making sure that you can continue using these systems beyond that, probably the design point, but you know where those systems are so that you don't disrupt your operations. So I would say those three is the kind of three main families and of use cases that probably I would ask a customer to think about where they are in those three areas.
Since you mentioned banking, I have seen many requests coming from, especially from finance sector, regarding conversational AI. It could be from insurance, banks, for KYC, or for account information. There are many different use cases.
I think communication is one of our kind of first signs of intelligence that humans develop, right? So communication is probably the area that AI will disrupt the most, and conversational AI is probably the technology that will improve communication within the enterprise, communication with customers, communication with partners. What we see about conversational AI and the voice to text, text to voice, knowledge assistance and all that is not just about getting the right answer. You can get the right answer at any time of the day. You can get the right answer in any language you want, right? And you can get accurate information. We're really moving into a world, and our kids will tell us that they want to resolve their problems on their own. It's all about self-service. So if I can talk to an agent that actually helps me resolve a problem, and that might be conversational AI, it's definitely where we go. So I see a huge, especially in the banking, but other areas, conversational AI is a huge area of potential value, because it's just convenient. It breaks the barriers, communication barriers. And we even seen for sign language, we've developed, like the Libras project in Brazil, where we developed a complete suite of conversational AI based on sign language. Imagine that there's no barriers to communication with AI, really. And very soon we'll be communicating to a lot of more kind of robotic systems and autonomous systems. So this is another area that conversational AI is definitely going to help us with.
So this conversational AI has different layers. So let's see if I have a chatbot or
You're going to test me now.
Think if I have a conversational AI or if I have a knowledge
Yes.
assistant, I'm then employee. So I will have a certain level of access. But the management or director level, they will have a different layer of access, and customer will have a different layer of access.
Yeah.
So how this segregation is being make sure that I cannot go and see something what I should see when I go into the chatbot and I ask the question.
Absolutely. And that's going back to that security layer, that guardrails kind of area. Different agents, you might have agents that have access to different types of information. I think it's pretty difficult to have a particular agent that is trained on and we've proved this kind of in the lab. It's got a kind of quite broad knowledge about a theme, trying to suppress that knowledge when you're getting the queries out. And we've seen for copyrights issues, people can actually get some of the original transcripts that we used to train the model. So what we really focus on specialist models. So there will be specialist model that will have access to the right information for that right user. So no more, no less. And then the LLM, the technology itself is just used as a retrieval technology that you can communicate with. It goes to your memory, your library, gets all the information and brings it back to you. And we make sure that we keep what we call data domains isolated so that there's no leakage of information.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Amir. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And let's go for a coffee now. Lenovo.